All right, so next up.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5. Heists are coming. Now here's the thing.
The final horse crosses the finish line.
How many times have we seen that headline?
Yeah,
like I
coming?
swear to God. So back at IGN, I would be on the daily. I would like help produce the Daily Fix.
Let him host.
And yes, let him host. And I swear that was our story. Like the amount of times it was like, hey, can we make a thumbnail that says GTA heists are coming?
Yeah.
Maybe like twice a month.
Right.
And it's just like they're finally actually coming. There's details. They said there's a couple of them coming at launch, and there's different types of heists coming.
At launch is what you just said.
Well, that's what they're saying. Like they're describing it as GTA Online launch. And
Relaunch,
when I read that, I was like,
wait a second.
that's a weird word to use, but
Yeah.
So my question to you guys is this okay? Is this a bad thing, or is this a great thing that a game that's a year old is
more than
over a year old, getting this substantial update that we thought we were getting earlier, but we're never promised earlier, as far as I know.
They were upfront that it's not ready, and we're working on it, is what they always said. My answer, not being a member of the GTA Online community, really, I played it the first week it was out and was totally screwed up, and I never touched it again, is like, I think it's a good idea. Like, it gets me re-interested to do it. Now, granted, we have an audience of, I don't know how many thousands of people now you want to count it as that have been saying, we'd love to play this with you. It's 30 players. We should do it. Mm-hmm. That works for me. That works for me a lot. But
Get in there.
We're talking like monkeys. Like we're talking like Cheetos talks.
That's how he talks?
Yeah.
Okay.
He talks
Cool.
too, guys.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you want Cheetos.
My Cheetos impression is the monkey impression that Ed does in Shaun of the Dead. So that was a walk to get you. He does a really good one.
Yeah,
he has
he
an
does.
empty cup. He does. Anyways, it's a good thing. It gets people re-interested in it. I have GTA on PS4. I haven't touched it. I played the hell out of GTA PS3.
Yeah.
This is a reason to put it in. This is a reason to do it. The thing about it is, like, we know people who are super into the GTA Online community. Like Fredo was super into it, and I never heard. And you talk to Fredo more than I do because I just can't get distracted by that body. I never heard people really bitching that heists weren't there. It seems like they were happy with the suite they did have. It found its niche for sure. People were crazy about it.
So from my understanding from talking to Alfredo is that it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of great stuff, but it was always, but we want the heists. Like, this is what we want. We're just doing this to tide ourselves over for this. And then it just reached a point where they're like, okay, I guess
Destiny,
it's not
see you
happening.
later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they moved off. Like, I don't think Alfredo's played GTA since then.
Do you think he'll come back for this?
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
But I guarantee he'll get in there and he'll have his
Go
squad.
to twitch.tv/AlfredoPlays. Watch him do it.
And they'll definitely be doing that stuff. And I mean, Alfredo's one of those guys that like wanted to get as high level as possible and like make sure he had everything he could in that game.
Yeah.
And he was so stoked for these things. But yeah, it's a year later now, and it's like, all right, well, everyone's moved on. They're now playing there's been like 4 games in between them. There's Titanfall, there's Destiny, there's all this other stuff. So yeah, I'm sure he's going to get back into it. And I guess that's a good thing. It's like, and especially because it's free.
Right.
Like, that's the other thing, is it's not like, if they were like charging for all this and stuff, it'd be like,
this is always, the only shady, not even shady, I don't mean to put it in a bad light. The only weird thing is the fact that it did seem like when it launched on PS3 and it wasn't there, it seemed like it was only a few months away.
Like a month away.
Yeah, and the fact that it's now a year and change later, it's finally here, that's the one thing where you're like, really? But that's the catch with multiplayer online games, right? Is that you have to keep your audience in this day and age holding onto the copy and not going to GameStop and trading it back in.
Yes.
So I mean, I haven't followed it closely on how well they were communicating what their timetable was. But if you're like, well, one day it's gonna have heists, so I'll put it on the shelf. I understand, and especially to bring people back, especially right now when there's a little bit of a lull, right? Like if we were gonna stop everything right now and go play games, I'd go play Destiny, right? Or like now Super Metroid or something old, right? So to bring something and make it new again, sure. A game you already have, a game that will be free technically.
Yeah.
I like how you go Destiny and Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Old.
They're pretty much, I think, came out at the same time. Shigeru Miyamoto made both of them.
About 20 years apart, but yeah.
Super Metroid, is that new?
Yeah, 94.
Oh, I thought that was the recent one.
No, you're a tired young man, aren't you? I think it's interesting because I think Rockstar is one of the few developers, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the few games that can get away with this simply because they're really good at what they do. They clearly knew they can take their time. That game sold meteoric numbers. We were talking about big games people moved on to, like Titanfall and Destiny and stuff. This game sold more than all those games combined. So it's like the game's there, it's out there, they have the luxury to wait. People are going to play it when it comes out. People might even rebuy the game when it comes out. We have to think about the internal resources at Rockstar North and the other Rockstar satellite studios and like what they're doing right now, because they obviously had to port the game over, which I'm sure was the plan from the beginning. They tweaked it and used new resolutions and all those textures and all those kinds of things. I mean, it was not like just a simple port job, it seemed like. So this seems like this talk of a certain amount of people. Certainly, the Rockstar Studios are working together on Red Dead 2, which seems like is a real thing. So, like, who knows what resources and what facilities are being used for that?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then the heists were like left behind for probably another team. It's not like everyone at Rockstar is like working on this one thing. It's a huge group of studios, and they are busy. So,
how bloodthirsty are you for Red Dead 2?
Oh, I can't. I love Red Dead. I actually think Red Dead's extraordinary. But I was also disappointed with Grand Theft Auto 5. So like I don't, and I love GTA 4. So it's not.
What disappointed you about it?
I think I just don't want to play these games anymore. I think that I got back from TGS a couple years ago, so 2 times ago, and
I had to bring home your copy from work.
Yeah, I ordered it, I bought it, and I was like, I can't wait to get home and play this game. I'm so excited to play Grand Theft Auto, and I got home and I played it for like 5, 6, 7 hours. I'm like, I don't really want to play this.
Yeah.
It's the same way I felt about Watch Dogs when I played it and a few other games where I'm like, I just really don't want to play this game. And it wasn't about, I just like, I don't want to do this. And that was weird because I've beaten since 3, I guess, 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and 4, and then Ballad of Gay Tony, and Lost in the Damned. I loved all of that stuff. And so, and the Stories games on PSP, I loved those games. And so it was weird that it didn't resonate with me, but Rockstar makes good games, and I believe in quality. I really do believe that. So, I think that it wasn't ready, and it was ready when it was ready, and I think they knew they had the luxury. Let's not forget, these guys made $500 million in one day on GTA 5. It's like, if they need to like pay their staff to work another year on this, they're going to certainly be able to do that. But it's a unique situation. A normal game from a normal studio, even a AAA big studio and a big publisher could not do this. Would not get away with it. But with this game, with the proliferation of this game, with the pedigree of this studio and this series, I think that they were able to do it. I think that's like literally a 1 in 100 kind of thing. I think if I don't know, if Titanfall, the original Titanfall, if they a year later, so in April, we're like, oh, we're releasing a bunch of huge new DLC. I really don't think that that's going to resonate much with people. People stopped playing Titanfall literally weeks after it came out. So it's not like there's still a small community there of people that play it,
but like even the top people stopped. Like again, Alfredo, going back to him, like he was the Titanfall community. Like,
literally, he won tournaments all the time.
Exactly. Like
his PC is built on
his team and like all like the teams that they played against. Like that was the community.
Yeah.
And like it kind of went down. Titanfall 2, I'd be really interested to see what that does. I'm feeling
the thing about Titanfall.
It'll be on PS4 and Xbox One.
The thing about Titanfall that's fascinating is the DLC packs have been really cool. Well, they've added really cool stuff to it. And right before I went away for, I guess, what was the last thing we did? PlayStation Experience, maybe?
Yeah.
I did a Let's Play with Fredo, because we did a lot when we were leading into Titanfall because I was so excited. And it was finally a horde mode where I'm playing with other people fighting things. They had new modes, they had new things, and I was like, oh wow, I was like, this is rad. I'd love to come back and play this again. But then again, there's just so much going on that there isn't that hook. You know what I mean? Everyone's in Destiny now. I want to go be in Destiny with people.
And I think Destiny's doing a really good job of like putting out the new raids and like making events out of them.
And they've communicated it. That's the thing about Destiny, right?
Yeah.
They came out from day one, even before that, they're like, you're gonna have these expansion packs coming, here's the timetable for them. It's not like this where it's like, oh, the Crota raid is coming. Don't worry, it's coming. Dark Below's coming. You know what I mean? Like, no. It's like, it's not like Heists. It's like, here it is.
Exactly. I think a big difference with Heist, I mean, actually, there's some similarities there too, is that in GTA, like a lot of people really, really, really liked that game.
Yeah.
But their favorite parts were the heists.
Right.
Like I feel like everyone's favorite part of that game was the heists. And so the fact that we're just getting more of people's favorite part of the game is huge. And I feel like that's why they also can kind of just draw it out a little bit, just because it's like, hey, you're just getting more of your favorite thing of this game. Yeah. And I guess with Destiny, like the raids are like everyone's favorite part too. So
I'm not high level yet to do them.
But for the people that are dedicated and in that community, they're looking forward to it. So when there is more raids, they're super excited about it. They're looking forward to it, and they're just going to keep doing them.
Yeah.
Like Alfredo's played this Crota raid like 10 million times.
I know, he tries to do his time better.
Yeah, he's doing like world records and all that stuff. That's awesome. But I mean, that's the hardcore people that it's for. Yeah. GTA is in a slightly different situation where it's way more mainstream. Like, everybody bought that game.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many people are going to download these heists, play through the heists and stuff. I'm sure a lot will.
Here's a way of looking at it. If 1% of the people that own Grand Theft Auto downloaded Heists, that's 350 or 400,000 people, right?
Yeah.
So
Those
that's
are kind of funny Patreon numbers.
so like that's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's more than most games sell. You know, like
Yeah.
so like there are thriving online communities on shooters that sell to 500,000 units. You know, like so it's not like, you know, and many more people are going to download them. And millions of people are going to download Heists. And I think they know that. And then I'm sure going to be microtransactions, all sorts of shit that you can spend money in. You know, I'm sure Rockstar is a very shrewd company. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like this is just a perfect storm for them. This is not something anyone else can get away with. And I'm not sure they can even get away with it in another game. You know, like. I don't even think like Red Dead has the cachet to like be like, oh, we're coming back with a big meaty chunk 18 months later or whatever.
Yeah, Red Dead had online. People forget that all the time. There was online, and like you'd ride around and fight things and hang out with your friends, but it wasn't like if they put a giant patch out for Red Dead, nobody would care.
But the major difference too, because you guys were talking about Titanfall and how that game resonated with people quickly, but then was forgotten really, is because. It's not only because it was only on one console, because I don't believe that that's the case. I mean, that game sold well, and it was also on 360, and it was also on PC. It's that they should have held, EA maybe didn't have the luxury to hold the game longer and let them do something with it. It was an empty game, for a lot of people. And Grand Theft Auto is not an empty game, so there's not like people aren't like up in arms being like, where's the Grand Theft Auto I wanted? Like the Grand Theft Auto you wanted is the 50-hour storyline.
Right,
like
what you got.
This is like all ancillary stuff. So again, a perfect storm. It's the right situation for the right company with the right game and the right franchise at the right time.
Exactly. And I think GTA is such the right franchise for that because Titanfall is a shooter at the end of the day. GTA, what is it? It's whatever the hell. It's a racing game. It's a shooting game.
A drug simulator.
Exactly. It's all of these different things. Like the fact that they've still consistently been able to put out these new patches and updates, even without the heists. Things are so interesting. Like whenever we see like people doing Let's Plays and stuff, and like even recently with the PS4 update.
Yeah.
First person mode changes the game.
Right.
It's just like, what? They actually like did that, and it's just insane. It makes it feel so different, and like all the new drugs and stuff they added, and like you can play as a bird.
The new drugs. Yeah, the peyote mixture.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
Would you guys want, like, I know it's not likely and no other developer could do it, but would you want other developers to be able to do this? Taking your favorite parts of games, giving you more of it the following year, knowing that like that's going to compete against new games that you want to play.
I mean, yeah, that's what we always talk about, right? We wish more games would move to being a platform and then getting giant content updates and doing different things. But there is a problem with making it all work when there's so much going on. I keep talking about, now that we have this, I really want to stream and do a Let's Play of me finally playing Batman Arkham Origins Mr. Freeze DLC, which I pre-ordered and installed on day one. And I was so excited to play it, but something happened, and then something happened, and then before I knew it, I was like, oh my god, that's on there. I forgot about that. You know what I mean? Like that. There's always something newer, and the grass is always greener on that other game you don't know anything about. Because when you do jump into a game that you already own, then there's the learning curve of getting back into it and what's happening. Destiny or an MMO, right, where you're playing consistently forever, like that's different because you know the mechanics. Unless you take a giant break like I did with Destiny or DC Universe Online and then try to come back, then there's that barrier to entry, which is what I face right now with DC Universe Online. Kids keep asking me to stream it, and I'm like, I'm so far behind on the armor treadmill that it's going to be hard to get a group together to go do these missions I need to get this piece to go get that, and then my exo bits. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of work. And Destiny's like closer. I can do that. I don't know.
What were you calling?
I just think the consumer-friendly angle, as we've said, is the game as platform for games like this.
Yeah.
I think that a game like Fallout 4, whenever that's announced, is a game, and it's gonna be a game, and it is what it is. It's got its DLC packs, it's Fort Pitt and all that kind of shit. Just like Fallout 3 guy, that's totally fine. I think Gran Turismo is always the example I use of a game that should be a platform. The next Gran Turismo game should be called Gran Turismo. It should be free, and it should be a PS4 game that you download as an app, and then just deal with it as you want. You want cars,
deal with it.
You want cars, you want, deal with it at your leisure. Like, you want some more cars? Okay. You want some more tracks? Okay. It's $1 here, $5 there, blah, blah. I think it's the most consumer-friendly way, actually, because it gives you what you want out of the game, and it doesn't make you buy, like, a new iteration of every time. This is why I get frustrated with EA Sports games and stuff like that, especially when they regress, like NHL did this year, which was insane to me. As someone who plays those games every year, I'm like, this
away modes.
Yeah, the NHL, they took a year off on the next gen stuff. They released the NHL first PS4 NHL game in September, and it was like missing everything, like almost everything, And I was like, the game itself was fun to play, but what about the content around it that's going to keep me engaged in it? That's why NHL should just be a platform, Yeah. I'll pay. People would gladly pay $4.99 a month to just get their roster updates. and play for this gameplay tweak or this tournament or whatever you want to do. It's just like a more consumer-friendly thing. But again, publishers aren't going to be making money doing that. So, or at least not the money they're used to being. Making. These series have to crater before they do anything like that. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. Like, Activision has this suite of really talented developers that could just be making maps and storylines and all these kinds of things on a singular platform and doesn't force people to. How frustrating was it for someone like Alfredo, probably, who or someone like him that plays Call of Duty and then they're really good at Ghosts, and then the next year they have to be really good at Modern Warfare or Advanced Warfare, and the next year they're gonna have to be really good at Advanced Warfare 2, and then Black Ops 3, and then it's like, why not just Call of Duty?
Well, now see here the problem with that though is you have to make sure that everybody on a competitive level that everyone has access to the new maps, because the second that you have like a paid map that not everybody gets, that's not a competitive map anymore, because no one's gonna play it because not everyone can play it. And Alfredo's talked to me many times about this, where it's just like he's not as good at those maps because he never plays them. Sure. Like whenever new maps come, he's like, okay, cool, I'll try it for a little bit, but they're not in matchmaking because most people don't have access to it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
So like the platform idea really does work for certain types of franchises, certain types of games. So like MMOs, yes. But for shooters, I don't know. Like from the competitive angle, at least, I don't know if that's necessarily the right way.
Is that the biggest thing driving people forward is the competitive angle? I mean, are you talking about competitive gaming, or are you talking about people who are competitive with each other? Like, I want to play at the very best.
There's a big difference between esports and just competitive.
Okay, just making sure to be clear.
Yeah, and I think it's true for both though. Like, Alfredo definitely straddles the line. Like, he's not a pro player, but he can compete with pros.
Gotcha.
And the thing is, there's a huge audience of people that are just competitive in multiplayer that play like the pros. So they'll use their settings and use their maps. The same thing's true with Smash Bros, where it's like, there's rules for competitive Smash Bros. And like certain maps are legal, certain maps aren't.
Yeah.
And even though we're not pros, we still kind of play by those rules just because it's like, oh, well, that's the real game, And I feel like first-person shooters also have that.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
That set of standards, So the platform idea is just interesting for shooters specifically.
Yeah, someone will either have to figure it out or not.
I think racers make sense. Like Gran Turismo, exactly. Mario Kart. Like, I think Nintendo's doing great with their DLC, with how they're doing the thing. I hate that there's only 2 packs. Hopefully they announce more.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. They'll just do Mario Kart 9.
Yeah.
And Smash Bros, I'm super excited to see what they do with that. Because
I
Smash Bros is like a weird thing where it's like, it's not seen as a real fighting game. It's not like Street Fighter. It's more of a party thing.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people in the fighting game community don't really take it seriously, which is fine. I mean,
it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's played competitively for money, so there is something there, right?
And I certainly have a lot more fun with it than I do with a regular fighting game. Although, what the hell do I really know about that genre? Very little.
But they announced that Mewtwo is going to be DLC. But like, what does that mean? Like, is it going to be an actual pack, or are we getting more stages and more characters and like balance updates and all this stuff? Because
it's all amiibo features.
Yeah, that would be great. But I really do hope that we see Smash, because with Mario Kart came out last year. 6 months later, we got DLC Pack 1.
Yeah.
DLC Pack 2 is another 6 months from now, and like that's cool that it keeps it going. It kind of sucks that it's that long. This is kind of the opposite thing of the GTA thing, where it's like that will be a year later, but it's not free. So it's like, well.
Yeah, Mario Kart's an interesting example because I don't think they need to do the GTA thing. Not no one, but most people aren't going to sell back Mario Kart. You know what I mean? Like, I have the Wii U for Mario Kart and for Smash Brothers and for Zelda and et cetera.
Yeah.
But like, Mario Kart I'm always going to want to hold on to because there'll be a day when I have a bunch of people over like, let's play something. Oh, wait, Mario Kart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Street Fighter is another thing that would be interesting because, I mean, that's a game that they really re-release. You know what I mean? Like, it's just insane. I think that as a platform could make a little sense. But then again, there's the competitive angle there too, where it's like the patches would have to be, you almost have to pay a subscription service for that's how Call of Duty could work if it was a subscription thing.
Yeah.
Where you have to constantly pay, and you don't need to pay per map. You get everything for this much money.
Yeah, $10 a month or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think that's where a lot of things are going to go. I think that's a viable but dangerous model, as we see in the MMO market.
Yeah.
It works really well for some and not so well for others. So, I think it'll evolve to that point. I think people's money and time and patience is finite with some of this shit, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think that people have to, publishers, it's not the developers, it's the publishers that really need to figure out how we tackle this problem in the future.
Yeah, and how people want to.
How the market
get
demands.
games. There you go.
Yep. The thing is, the market still demands Call of Duty every year. So
yeah.
although it's starting to plateau. So.